Everyone assumes doing a PhD is hard, and they are right. But they are assuming it because of the wrong reason. They are thinking about the reading, the writing, the researching. But that's not the hard part. We trained for that during our bachelor's and master's. Honestly, the hard part is everything else. Hi, I'm Selina. I'm nearly done with my first year of an organizational psychology PhD in the Netherlands. And those are some experiences that I had during my first year, which I thought might be helpful to share. Theoretically, I already had it easier than most people starting a PhD. I already knew the city, the university, and I had a place to stay. All of which are super stressful, especially when you're starting a new job. And still, my first few months were way harder than I expected because my supervision team kind of fell apart multiple times. It all started with the interview. Well, it all started with me applying, but I got at one point invited to the interviews, had to prepare something, had the interview, got the job. Yay! The thing is, already shortly after the interview, I had the feeling that not everything will be fun and rainbows afterwards. And my gut feeling was right. Without going too much into details, my supervision team changed, I think, 5 times over the next 5 months. And this included not only uncertainty about the project, because as a PhD, you are already uncertain about what the project will look like and what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. No, it's even those small things like who to CC in an email, who to invite to the Drive folders, or who to talk about what. I have to give credit where credit is due. The people in my supervision team, whoever it was at that time, really tried to all support me and make sure I know it's not because of me and that it won't have anything to do with my future. The thing is, that's easier said than felt as a new PhD who's struggling keeping up with everything. And why I'm saying that, or also starting this video with it, is not to share a random sob story. It's more that I underestimated how important the supervision team is in that PhD project. You know, I thought those are people that you're working with, and I have worked with people before. It's not that I'm, that bad in it. It's also not that I'm the best, but, I'll manage. But the thing is, with a PhD, you start and people might assume you know some stuff, and you know some stuff, but definitely not all of the stuff. And the supervisors are there to support you. Basically, when you start a PhD, you start a relationship with someone for the next 3 or 4 years. That's a long time for a relationship. And having that taken away from you can generate a complete new feel of uncertainty, because basically you're in a relationship and don't even know with whom and what this will look like. But obviously that wasn't the only uncertainty I had to deal with as a PhD. Because you see, as a PhD, you're the boss of your project. I loved that. That's why I applied to become a PhD, because I didn't want to have another 5 courses, 20 deadlines, and a reading list that you just have to work through because someone decided that those readings are the important one for the subject. But I regretted that roughly an hour or 2 into my first day. Because you see, I had in the beginning a meeting with the secretary talking through what kind of systems we're using, my account logins, all this kind of administrative stuff. And for lunch, I would meet with my, at that moment, supervision team. Then I sat down after the secretary left in my office, looked outside the window, looked at my computer and wanted to get started, get a head start. Logged in, started the computer and had no clue what to do because no one was handing me a reading list. And first I celebrated and was like, hey, no one tells me what to do, until I realized how much certainty it gives you if someone just tells you what to do. There's always more you can read. There's always better ideas you could brainstorm. And because of that, you feel like you don't have any progression at all. And feeling like you don't have any progress at all feels a bit daunting, especially when you have a big project like this. Someone might say, but you have plenty of time and everything will fall into place. But that's not what it feels like. It feels like sometimes you're even moving further away from the goal, even though you worked and worked and worked. But at one point, I just decided that, you know what, if everyone is telling you, at one point it will fall all into place, then either that's how it actually works, which would be great and I would be very grateful for, Or it's the biggest lie ever told in academia that everyone is just running with, and then who am I to stop it? So yeah, I guess even though it didn't fall into place with me yet, we'll see how it goes in the next years. I think one of the reasons why a PhD can feel extremely lonely is that you fell often from being a student who could mess up laundry day and then you're going in a Cookie Monster onesie to a lecture into this academic position where people assume you have their stuff together. And they all expect kind of better. Because you're doing a PhD, you are somehow someone who has their life together. But we don't, or I at least don't. And I mean, there are people out there who are highly intelligent and organized and have their stuff together. And I'm so, so happy for you. And I wish you all the best. Enjoy some other videos. The rest of this is not for you. All the other academics, they seem to have their stuff together. And while everyone is like, oh yeah, we are all suffering. We are all working long. We are all not getting stuff done, are underpaid, underslept, over-caffeinated. I don't know. No one is really talking about it. So it feels like you can't share your struggles really because no one else struggles like you do. So you feel like you're at the bottom of the barrel anyway. But that starts this kind of self-fulfilling cycle where no one talks about them struggling, which is why also people on the outside perceive you as having their stuff together because yeah, every academic has their stuff together and everyone is just sad and alone. So I think while being lonely or feeling lonely started being a part of the PhD in the beginning, I also very fast was able to counteract it by just talking honestly with people. Because once you start opening up about how uncertain you feel about your supervision team, about your project, what to do, where to go, about the workload, if you're doing enough, once you start opening up, other people also have an easier time opening up. Sometimes they can give you tips, sometimes just a shoulder to cry on. And yeah, I think after my first year, the one thing that I learned was just keep going. It will all get better. And then worse again, but then better again. And just stick to it and see where the ride goes. So see you around. Bye.